All right, can everybody hear me okay? Tina, are you okay? Greetings,
Yes, sir.
everybody. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii with my co host, Tina Bird. Just want to say, things are crazy. I know it's crazy wherever you are, but we're going to get down to the truth right now. But here's Tina. Greetings, Tina. How are you?
Well, hello, Tommy. Tina Brown here, broadcasting from Southampton in the UK to Tommy Hawksblood in Hawaii, my counterpart. It's 7 o'clock here in the evening, so it's good to be on. And we've got another great show for you tonight. UFOs are not UAPs, but I think UFOs, and they're trying to make the word UAP more popular this week. I think it's gone from flying saucer to UFO to UAPs because they're now saying they may be interdimensional. But I'll let Tommy explain that. Tommy.
Well, people, you know that those two words changing from UFO is crazy. They just want to take the attention off of UFOs and aliens and put it on more strange phenomena. All right, because they can't explain anything anyway. But the idea of taking away the idea of a UFO is ridiculous. And anybody in the UFO world that uses the other letters should be shot. We don't need, sorry about that, we should not use it because we are dealing with UFOs, not strange phenomena. I know I have half of my life, and so has Tina. I should say all my life, but it was on and off. It wasn't every day. But I work with more people than most of the UFO people. I work with a lot of abductees. Tina is the one I stayed with for the past 3 years because she's active now. Her book came out. I just did a show. I put the cover of her book on my site and everything, and now they changed it. I'm sorry about that, but I'll let her talk about her book later. But people, we're here for the truth, not for lies, not for money, not for stories. I go against all the speakers out there. I write them letters every day. Not one of them has the you know what to even get back to me or debate me or anything. Uh, Now, Richard Dolan, since he's running out of UFO stuff, he's doing a spiritual thing with his wife. And they're talking about all these things that are not beneficial or pertaining to UFOs. Like remote viewing is not a good thing, people, whether you want to know that or not. It's invading people's space. One of the first people famous that was doing it publicly was George Washington. And I can go into those details if anybody really wants the truth about that. But people, this is about UFOs and aliens. What they're doing, why they're coming here. They don't talk about that in the UFO world in any great detail. They don't admit to how many people get abducted, how many people go missing. They talk about, oh, the good aliens. Oh, they're going to help us. They're going to do it. They don't do anything for us. They never did, people. But this phenomena thing is ridiculous. Phenomena is when you see sparks shooting around your house in the middle of the day or something. That might be phenomena. But when a person or an entity standing in the middle of your room or a ship lands outside your house, that's not phenomena. It's a UFO. And it's a ship and it's something driving it, people. And that's what we have to have our concerns about. Which UFO world seems to, oh, well, UFOs are real. We know that, people. Oh, we got to have an actual encounter. Everybody, people, we had multiple people had actual encounters with aliens. So it's not new and it's not like something that's going to, oh, here's the first encounter with an alien. No, it's not. If you pull up all the information, now, something I just found out the alien interrogation is real. Nobody wants to hear that either. But they put out the fourth part of it, which was never released until recently. Pull it up online. It's alien interrogation. All right.
Is that the one where the alien becomes unwell and it has something in its mouth or it's choking or something and they've got to stop the interview? Is that the
Well,
one?
they got it there in this room and they're trying to make it tell information. The original had Whitney Schreiber in the background crying and all that. Uh, but this is part four. They interviewed him for a while. It was probably a long time, almost all day. But they put segments out on YouTube a long time ago. But they just added a fourth part to it. Now realize this alien is telling its information what it knows, saying there is no God and all that kind of stuff. It has no clue because it has no spiritual foundation and it has no God and it also has no compassion. So it doesn't understand what it's saying, what it's doing, and it's programmed to say what they tell it to say. Meaning, I was trying to find out if any alien races knows much about Jesus, which they don't. Even the people from Venus have no clue about Jesus. And they say, well, they think he's an alien. People say that too in the UFO world. People, we like to twist story. No, we don't, not Tina and I, but most people like to twist the story, make it fit their mold, what they want people to believe and accept, like Stephen Greer. Talking to aliens is not spiritual. He said we're moving forward technically, but not spiritually. He has no clue what the word spiritual means because he thinks in talking to aliens is spiritual. It's not going to save mankind in any way. Oh, they're going to save us if we listen to them. No, they're not. People, wake up. The world's crashing. We're already close to go to World War III. Countries are fighting. People are rebellion. Food is horrible, shortening, changing. Our environment's crashing. And everything's beautiful. Listen to these spiritual people. Everything is just what you want it to be. Put your mind on it and it'll become that. Really? People, look outside your window at nighttime. Tina has ships over her house all the time, and so do I. Now, and don't say everything's a satellite because it's not. All right, I'm going to let Tina back to say what you need to say today. Greetings, Tina.
Greetings, Tommy. Well, I'd like to touch on a few things. I mean, here in the UK, as I said before, I'm sure there's a big news blanket out there everywhere. You turn on the telly, unless it's immediate war or the weather, or humanitarian or someone's protesting, there's nothing. There isn't any other news. So years ago, you used to see like people were frightened or they've seen a ghost or, things would happen or UFO reporting or be a UFO on the weather. Used to do live weather presentations outside. I think unless it's going to be like midsummer, they don't do them anymore because you used to see things flying through the sky. So, but UFOs aren't reported on British television anymore. There isn't a UFO department in Britain. Britain has got a name and shame. Britain, unfortunately, since they shut the UFO desk, there is no one to make a UFO complaint to or sighting, or you get swarms of ships or many ships or abductions. There is no official UK ministry body anymore to report UFOs or abductions. So if a UFO landed, you'd have to phone the local police. So I don't think they'll probably come out in a couple of days. I'm not quite sure. But it's priority. So you would think in this day and age, seeing that UAPs are real, Congress have come out and said they're real. Russia, China, Brazil, many other countries have come out and said that UFOs are real. They do exist, and now they didn't before. Because they didn't deem as a threat. They are a threat to airspace and aircraft traffic and aircraft space and what have you. So if they are a threat to aircraft and they come near the ground or they crash land, are you going to call in Britain? Not Ghostbusters. There's no one to call because the departments are shut. So I presume they'd have to call the army or the closest military base out. I presume. So God knows how long that would take in the UK. So in this day and age and all this scientific reviews and the amount of offices, it's just like an email address and a telephone number for someone to pick up and call. You'd think it would be that simple, wouldn't you? But obviously not. So they're not a threat to Britain. It may be a threat to every other country, but apparently not to Britain, as we have no way of reporting any of that. But the states seem to be wide open to it. Again, like Britain versus America. America wants to be more upfront. The taxpayers' dollars over there are paying for these programs, are paying to shoot down UFOs, are paying for research and development. They're paying private companies for research and development. As in Britain, you can't ask no one because they've shut everything down. They've shut you down. You can't talk to no one. You can't report to no one. So that's why I think it's diminished so much in the UK. If there was a desk where you could report it to and get figures, people would be more interested, more reporting would go on, where we'd get a better understanding. As it is, we just have to wait for military intel, which is no longer available because they don't have a military intel desk for UFOs, apparently. So it's just the Americans that call them UAP and obviously not the British military. So if anything big did happen in the UFO world in England, it would be interesting to see who would respond, how they would respond, and what they would think of it, and what they would label it as UFO, UAP, what task force is responsible for that. It would be handy to know, because if you went over to the United Nations, the UN, they have on the nuclear treaty, it takes into account UFOs. It's actually written down. Who decided that? Who looked at that? Who came up with it? Scientists? What data did they go off of? Who drew the legislation up? What effect do they have on UFOs or them on nuclear weapons? So that should be questions we should be asking as a safety measure. If the UN knows that, why isn't Britain telling people about it? We have nuclear bases in Britain. We have nuclear submarines in Britain. We have nuclear warships. We have nuclear power stations. So somewhere along the line there, people need to be more asking more questions, if not for general public safety. I mean, again, it is British taxpayers' dollars or UK pounds paying for this, and we get no answers for our money here. Everything's televised from the members of Parliament, and so Britain has a long, long way to go in catching up. I think they're in it up to their necks just as much as the next country, and again, same as other countries. When it does, people keep saying they're waiting for disclosure. Disclosure's already happened. Disclosure has already happened. It's just what you deem necessary or what you need in your mind to think, yes, that's disclosure. It's different for everybody. But contact's been made. Contact with a different species is made. When they take people, when they abduct people, that's contact. When these beings talk to abductees, that is contact with a different non-human species. When police officers, seamen see different objects in the sky, someone would have to have made them. Someone has to make metallic objects and weld them together and program them to go to different worlds or collect them or have the power to go up and down in our stratosphere, atmosphere, and into space very quickly. There has to be another species or beings out there doing this. So that's the other side of it. It seems crazy to agree with one side and not the other. So they may say, yes, it's origin intent now. Well, they're agreeing that UFOs are real. Well, origin intent, you're not going to talk to a metal spacecraft. You're going to talk to its contents, aren't you? So whether that be a consciousness being, it's going to be something or someone. So, or a program robot. If it's a program robot, who programmed it and who built it? So it's still so many questions to ask. And then you still have the other side. Well, when they do officially come out and say this, which they already have, the Americans come out and said yes, in many other countries. And again, the UN agrees UFOs are real because they're written in a treaty into the nuclear program about what happens with UFOs. So these beings, they've locked people up wrongly and taken away their lives just for saying that they've seen a UFO or been near one, or better still, that they've spoken to an alien or been abducted. These people are never getting their lives back. They're never getting their families back. They're never getting trusted back again, in their life. And the wrongly people that's been locked up all their lives in America or other countries, Russia, China, I'm just using that, as an example, that have been locked up all their lives. They're never getting their lives back. That's not a conspiracy. That's actual truth and fact. Who's going to compensate them for all the years that are lost with their families, loved ones, and their life and lives they've never had or built, or lives and everything they've lost on the outside? It's absolutely disgrace. We're human beings. We're taxpayers. We vote people in, we vote them out, and we pay for everything. We should have more of a say in our own country. Never mind the military coming forward saying, well, yeah, UFOs are real. Well, then you should be releasing people from hospitals, paying psychiatric patients compensation for wrongly locking them up. Where's that line of questioning gone? What's happened to that? So, and again, you have the environmental side, all these people running about saying about weapons and they're spraying microplastics in the air, aren't they, to help the environment? Well, if they help the environment, that's when microplastics are coming from all around the planet. And you have to, natural history comes into this along the way as well. So we don't know enough about our own planet. We don't know enough about death and our afterlife. So there's so many questions to be asked, Tommy.
All right, people. Everybody knows where Tina is. She's been abducted half of her life and going through being sick and effects of it. My place is a little different because I've been involved with aliens and abductees, but I was never abducted. I was never taken ownership. I was next to an alien. I was next to a ship. I was next to a Bigfoot, but never actually taken. But I work with hypnosis with people that have been abducted. But the other thing that nobody knows much about, which I do, is missing time. I work with people that had missing time for many years. And it's basically the same story if they were abducted. Here, people, now in the UFO world, the word that we use is abduction, not visitations and happy parties and things like the new people in the UFO world go, I'm an experiencer, meaning they had a great experience with an alien, which is impossible. All right. In your dreams, you might, in your imagination, you might, but basically, you're programmed to believe that. And it's a lie. People, when they come back and say, well, I went to Mars, I went to Venus, I went to Jupiter, I went to all these places, they took me everywhere. They fed me dinner. Yeah, what'd you eat? People, figure out what's going on for real. These people come back with incredible stories, trying to be in the UFO world with zero proof of anything they're saying. First off, never mind, they have nothing important to say. People, I've been involved with this since I was 6 years old. Tina is almost the same age as me when it first started for her, too. They love children because it's easy to get into their mind. They're not completely programmed yet, which they're already being programmed. And then they put their own program in them. Uh, Tina is one of the few people that remember a lot of things that happened. We're hoping that she gets into a place where she gets hypnotized and they can find out a few more things that she doesn't know. The government's blocking everything that she should know from her, which is crazy. They don't have any right to do that, and they're doing everything they can to keep it hidden. But and now with this disclosure is not bringing the truth out in any way. They're still fighting to prove that UFOs are real. All the things in the sky are UFOs, and now they're calling them phenomena. They're going further and further away from the truth rather than dealing with the truth. Why are aliens here? Not are there aliens in ships? No, they're just ships. Now, when they start talking about who's driving the ship, they might be a little bit closer to what aliens are. All right. But their ships are incredible, and they are not good, but incredibly intelligent in certain ways. They are psychic. They can read your mind and everything else. Tina might know it as well as I do. If they want you to film them, they will let you. If they don't, you can't. A couple incredible things I wanted to film, and they just froze my camera. I had two cameras, but both frozen at the same time. People, they're here for a reason, and Tina and I are trying to bring it out, trying to expose what's going on. But the UFO world, oh no, aliens are good. Stephen Greer, no aliens are bad. It's like saying planet Earth has no rapists, murderers, killers, thieves on it. Really? Uh, and basically, the more people in the United States are much more into killing because they all want guns and have guns. And Mr. Rumpo wants to enforce people the rights to have guns. We don't need more guns on the street. I mean, what do they think they're going to shoot the government, shoot aliens? What are they going to shoot when they get their these guns are rapid fire guns, which are still legal? How many people you want to take out? What do you think you're going to shoot? Attacking you, an army? I mean, what do these people feel? What if a fleet of aliens came down, you pull a gun on them? What do you think is going to happen? Uh, their weapons are much higher. We're starting to use a lot of their weapons as well, people. Just the government is, not people on the street. Luckily, people would make people disappear if they had a laser that could make a person disappear. Or not, I can shoot and make them disappear. People, all right, in my life, I must have saw over 1,000 ships. Tina must see one every night. All right. I don't count the videos I shoot every night in front of my house. I'm talking about actual ships that came close to me, I was close to or next to. Not like these people, well, I saw a ship. And they do a whole show on, I saw a ship, and they try to recreate his image. Well, why don't you film it?
Just to let you know, my background radiation has jumped to 18 to 20. It keeps going to 20. So you can hit, I've just gone down to 14 now. It jumped to 20, my background radiation. This is a Geiger counter, everybody. It's gone down to 6 now. So when Tommy said people are targeted, when it jumps up to 20, you can hear minor clicks in the background. That's this thing clicking. And the faster the clicks, the worse it is.
People, Tina's had going through radiation poisoning, I call it. I made her get a Geiger counter a couple of years ago because she has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. And we actually proved it. Every show we do, she takes it out and shows everybody that the radiation in her body goes up and down, which is impossible. People, nobody's complaining. No doctor, no scientist, nobody's getting in touch with us or asking us. They should be, because whatever's going on with her can happen to the rest of the world, especially people they abduct that have no clue what's going on with her. All right, the radiation is affecting every part of her teeth, her hair, her fingernails, her body. I mean, she gets hurt, her whole body turns black and blue. I mean, she was falling down a lot and all these things, people. People that get abducted have problems. It's not like, oh, I'm in the real world now. I saw an alien. I'm happy I was on a ship. No, it's not like that, people. Don't even think you should be on a ship because Mr. Musk is really promoting traveling to Mars. He's not going to be happy if he ever got there, first off. And second of all, why does he really want to? He wants to leave planet Earth if he's trying to save planet Earth.
He wants to go for the blueberries. Apparently, Mars is covered in blueberries.
Well, I write him letters. But people, we need to be concerned about people going missing in state parks. All right, that's been going on for years and years. Nobody says. I mean, a couple books came out about it. People that did the research and everything else. They find a car abandoned on top of a mountain, no cliffs, and if there are, there's no bodies at the bottom of the cliff. Not like they fell off the cliff.
Here in the UK, we've had at top of Mount Snowdon here in the UK. We've had vans found at the top of mountains with the front seats ripped out and the roof missing.
Well, you know, people, families turn around and say, "My son was just standing right there and he disappeared." How is that possible? All right, nobody's talking about that, and they should be. And nobody in the UFO world talks about innocent people like Tina that get abducted and taken, not the experiences that coming out. Oh, it was a great experience. They're all programmed, people. Everything you hear, including Stephen Greer, is a program programming you to accept aliens as good. They will never help us. They never did. I mean, they're thousands and thousands of years older than us, and they still don't help us. All right. We're in the worst place that we have ever been in. And are they helping us? Come to Hawaii. You can see UFOs any night, any morning. If I talk to 10 people, at least 2 of them will say they saw a UFO. 1 out of maybe 25 will say they saw an alien. People, Hawaii is pretty intense because we do have an alien base here as well as government army base.
Known and advertise that fact, Tommy, because the UFO, I know for a fact that they like you. There's something about the volcanoes. It's the volcanism, but it's been widely reported by civilians and military that they're all masses of them have been seen, at least from off the coast of Hawaii.
Even the one person in Mexico, I don't know what his name is. Pretty. Well, basically, he saw
massive someone, isn't it? Oh God,
he saw the ships going in and out of the volcano. When I came to Hawaii, first person I met said, "Hey, you want to see videos of UFOs going in and out of the volcano?" There's pictures and videos of them going in and out of the sun as well. So they're not like us in any way, people. If you believe they're us or no, there's different races here. The Pleiadians are us from the future, if you want to know the truth. But the Greys, the Reptilians, the Nordics, and all those races are not us. We didn't come from them. And people, there were 9 races on the planet. Now there are 4. And we all didn't come from Africa. So, and the history that the UFO world accepts is a complete lie, which Zachariah Sitchin brought out, his translations of the Anunnaki and all that, the Inky and all those stories. They're all not real, people.
I have a question to ask. Sorry, like you just said, out of Africa, the sub-Sahara theory was good for many years. But the problem with that, until I found out, and I didn't find out, until I had to have major surgery, I'm a rhesus negative. So if you're a rhesus negative, everyone's positive. Where's the positive blood come from, and where does the negative blood come from?
They don't want to talk about that. They just try to say we're all from the same. Like the Hopi people have DNA in their blood that no other tribe has. So right away, they're not the same race.
Whole of the food chain was positive until like 2,000, 3,000 years ago, less than that. So where did my bloodline come from?
Well, we know they're trying to clone humans as Greys as humans as well. The reptilians have a different mission. All right. Mr. Putin actually said 2 races want to destroy the planet. He didn't go into the detail what 2 races were, but he told that directly to Trump. And Trump doesn't believe in aliens, period. But Funny, the day after he met him, he created the space army. So
do you think President Trump's going to be re-elected? Because that's something I think a lot of people here in the UK has been asking. We've heard a lot about it. Did he win his case?
He's got a really good chance to get in. But he's got 97 charges in court, including rape, against him. All right. If people elect him,
they could do that.
Well, Mr. President Rumpo thinks he can do whatever he wants and change the law on anything he wants. The week before he left office, he released over 200 prisoners. You're talking about murderers, killers, rapists, and people put them back out on the street. Really? Because he figures they'll vote for him. He let the whole prison out if they all vote for him.
That was 22 a second ago. So backgrounds are normally between 8 and 10, but it was 22 a second ago. But with that, we will look at 4 minutes left. I'm going to get my Geiger counter out. Tom, have you still got yours handy?
Of course.
So this is my second Geiger counter. My first one fell in a teal in the water. There it is. Just going to turn it on. And you'll see, I'll do it with this hand. At the top there is a volts per meter. There, volts per meter. And then you've got micro Teslas there. So micro Teslas there, volts per meters there. So it's 0 at the moment. Let me take my headphones off. 0 on both at the moment. So we're going to go that way. So it says harmful. When the red light, when you see the red light and it beeps, that's harmful.
Mine's different than Tina's. Mine's the top scale. Hers is the bottom scale, which is radiation. Mine's mechanical, electronical radiation in a way. Mine goes pretty high. My computer screen's dying anyway. I'm going to have to get a new one.
So I'm going to try the other side. So the red says harmful. So when it's red, so in certain places, it's harmful. So there you go. So I'm just going to turn that off. And then, so at the moment, our background is, as it should be, 10. So when it goes up to 22, I get concerned.
Well, my screen...
Just before I go, here's my book, guys. Hey? Say again?
Everybody see her book, please.
The screen's jumping a lot. So
go out.
This is my book. It's been rewritten. So I'm having someone re-editing it for spelling and things like that. But there it's there. It's called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's called The Bonded. If you read it, you'll find out why. So there you go. You can get it on Amazon, Amazon Kindle. And if you've got Amazon Unlimited, you can get this book for free. So this is free on Amazon Unlimited. You can get it for £10, English pounds on Amazon. And you can get it on Kindle. But if you've got Amazon Unlimited, you can get it for free. So it's less than the price of a packet of cigarettes, and that's my true account. I've also got The Guardians of Light, which will be rewritten and split into 2 books. So I'll be writing a third for that. But for me here in the UK, guys, we're still on half an hour, but please keep looking up. Start reporting. Go on to shows. Do your own research. Listen to people like me and Tommy, people that have real experience. Tommy will tell you that there's no 2 ways about that, but do your own research. Tommy, anything else before I go?
No, Tina, I'll talk to you personally after, and then I'll try to text you, all right? But it's always a pleasure, Tina. I'm glad you're healthy today. Till next time, stay healthy.
Yep. So saying bye from Tina Barrett here in Southampton, UK, to Tommy in Hawaii. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye, guys. See you then.
All right, everybody. Tina Bird, great person, suffering greatly with the effects of radiation poisoning and being abducted. Read a book. Read what they did to her in the hospital, what they keep doing to her, what's going on in the body the doctors can't prove or understand. It's mind-boggling. She has more proof, more evidence than any other abductee in the UFO world. I'm glad her book's becoming super big around the world right now. She's supposed to be getting linked up with the women going around about UFOs. Not that I feel too many other people are as important as Tina is. What she went through, what she's going through, and what the government's trying to hide. Now, people, I want to say this. The UFO world is becoming pretty watered down, twisting everything that's out there, creating more and more ridiculous, useless stories. UFOs are real, all right? And there's real aliens driving them. The Pleiadians, which aren't been active greatly, I don't know whether because of Billy Myers or not, but he introduced Fred Bell to his alien friends. Fred Bell worked with them for a while, brought out nuclear reactors and a lot of little different things he was selling. But he was taken out the day after he did the show with Jesse Ventura. But his books are out there. His book is quite important, people. All right, Fred Bell's books. Read his first one about UFOs and aliens and everything else, which will give you much more information than any other UFO book out there. He was on the ships with Billy Myers' alien friends. He did a lot of chemistry, medicine, and everything else along the way. The Pleiadians are us from the future. They're not like the reptilians, the Greys, or any other race. But we did shoot down one of their ships. If we do it again, they said they would attack the world or the United States if it happens. So how's the government know whose ship's whose ship? They're beyond what people want to know about that. They've been dealing with Russia. Russia and the United States have been fighting UFOs. Aliens as well, people. Read Phil Snyder's story, which no one in the UFO world promotes greatly, which they should. The second most important UFO story ever to happen. Not Roswell. Roswell, nothing happened. Phil Snyder's story, 67 Green Berets were killed. All right, read the story of his life and his truth before they killed him. People, this is horrible what's going on. If this show gets taken down because I said something that they don't like. I lost 4 shows in the past 2 months. I wrote them a real nasty letter because they blocked me on YouTube. They put me back up after I wrote them a super long letter. And they said, well, it's not as bad as we thought it was. Not as bad as they thought it was? Because I mentioned that Kennedy came to Hawaii about medicine. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to lose another show. And if I do, they said they will remove me from YouTube. People, anybody that cares about the truth, listen to some of the older shows before it all gets taken down or disappears. I can only give you the truth that I know, I experienced, and what Tina did and experienced. I was doing hypnosis when I was 16. I was doing Ghostbusting and everything else. But I was doing psychic implant removals. And there was a person who is now dead too that was removing implants from people. The truth was out there. It's out there somewhere if you can find it. But the whole UFO world is accepting changing UFOs to unidentified phenomena? Really? That's like saying, well, that's a car, but let's call it an unidentified object. Really? We know what it is. They know what it is. But we're so close to war and Trump getting involved with what's becoming president again. We're screwed every which way. And, we don't have many years to live in the society that we're living in right now. It's going to change completely. Now, AI is becoming super big, becoming part of everything, including YouTube, and AI analyzes what I say. But again, where did it really come from? Oh, well, they took smart computers. No, it was created by something, people. It really is. And it's not dead. And it's not an electrical energy. It's a real entity. All right. And people will understand that very soon. All right. When it does take full control under one person, which will be UN Agenda 21 to -30, which we're in right now, 24. All right. It will be AI taking over most of the planet. Of the people that are here, most people will be removed, at least half of the population people in the next 6 years. Watch what goes down. I'm not making this up. I'm not a storyteller. I watch things. I watch what's happening. I watch what's causing global warming, people. Not one person in government, not one person talking about global warming talks about a real problem. You're being fed information, but none of it's important and none of it's real. How global warming was created and what caused it, and cow farts and paper plates and styrofoam and antifreeze. All those are lies. When they put fluoride in your water, it wasn't to save your teeth. It was because they had toxic chemicals they couldn't get rid of. So they had to figure a way to legally get rid of it. People, all your food is contaminated. You can't get organic food for the word organic. If it hits the air, it's being exposed to chemicals and radiation and every other thing that's in our skies. People, wake up. I do this show for the truth only, to bring it out. My partner says, why are you wasting your time? Because, everybody that preaches is wasting their time in a way, because if you're preaching junk, it's only preaching junk. Stories, false information. And then again, most people don't want the truth. I put a book out about Jesus. I'll be putting part 2 out very soon. All right. The truth about Jesus that nobody knows. How do I know? Because I'm aware of all my past lives, and I was alive when Jesus was alive. Well, you don't have to believe it, but I can tell you what went down when it was going on and when it happened, and what they did to Mary Magdalene, who was the most spiritual woman to ever walk this planet, people. All right. Realize there was multiple gods that races followed. Jesus was the only person bringing out a singular God. All right. And trying to help people get in touch and learn to understand it and everything else. Not that God comes down here and works with us. Not that Jesus ever said he was God. Never did. Ever. Never admitted it or even said it, because he wasn't. But he was the most spiritual being, because he did have the 32 psychic abilities, meaning that he actually went through ascension. Nobody out there has gone through ascension, even though all these spiritual people, well, I went through ascension. Now they're what, a 6-dimensional being? Really? In the UFO world, we have people like Caroline Corey. She claims she can levitate things, paper, and she could change people's DNA. She's playing God. All right. Now, Richard Dolan is doing a spiritual seminar on the internet. I think it's about $80. But he's working with a bunch of people, including his wife, about spiritual things. One thing called remote viewing, which they try to get people to do and be and all that. The government created it and worked with it. And you know why they stopped it? Because people that they taught remote viewing were remote viewing them. And they couldn't let them know the truth. Remote viewing is evil, people. It's invading of a person's space, which is the most important spiritual law you need to learn on this planet, which most people will never. And that's the law of interference. All right? Meaning you have no right to interfere in any other person's life, space, unless you're invited into it. The government invades everybody's space, everybody's life, which is definitely against what we assume is called the Constitution. Constitution was written by rich fools that wanted to control poor people and women. Why don't people understand the truth? Why was guns permitted in the Constitution? Because at that time, the government paid people to shoot Native people, men, women, and children. They got paid for all three. Do you want the truth? Of course not. Well, I don't want to hear that. You want to hear that everything's rosy, the flowers smell beautiful, the trees are pretty. Everything's dying in its own way. Now, something I just heard today, mind-boggling, but I kind of feel I know why. Dolphins are attacking baby manatees. I swam with manatees for weeks. I work with dolphins. There's something going on, and people don't want the truth about that. The United States government worked with dolphins for 10 years straight, killing 10,000 dolphins every year. All right. And they allow it to happen around the world. But nobody can count numbers. So 10,000 is just the number they always throw out about everything. Japanese is only allowed to kill 10,000 whales. And they got a whale boat that makes canned whale meat. And they put a sign on scientific research. Really, people? Do you believe the lies you're being fed? The UFO world is nothing but lies. UFOs are real. Aliens are real. But what you hear about it and what's going on about it is much lies. Roswell is one incident. All right. Now, going back to the first abduction, Barney Hill. I mean, that story, so what? I mean, it was incredible they came out to tell this story, but it's not the most important one because it doesn't mean anything important ever really happened. It's happening all the time around the world. Abduction has escalated because the number of people has increased to a number that allows so much more abduction. When people die or supposedly die, what do you think happens in the war? All these dead bodies. You don't think aliens on top of that as well? Every war, alien ships were sighted and involved. Even Vietnam, a lot of people came back and said they saw ships landing and things like that. So don't think that it's not real. But funny, these people never get public or become public speakers. Well, you know, the old saying, if people don't like what you're saying, you're not going to be able to say it. Talking about the government. And who runs the government? The secret government. Who runs the secret government? MJ12. They're the highest organization probably on the planet. They control just about everything that goes down. All right. Now, they became MJ32. One of the people that I knew in it has died right before he was supposed to give us something. I'm not going to go into the details. But I work with people. And in the UFO world, we had good people years ago. From 96 to 2000, the top UFO speakers were out there mainstream. The top in the field, not the people out there in the field today. They have never even seen a UFO or next to an alien or any of that. So they're not anything. They're just storytellers repeating people's stories. And then when you see the event, it's a recreated event. Who cares? There's important stories. There's probably about maybe 25 really important UFO stories. One of them was when a ship landed in a schoolyard, and all the children ran to the alien, and the alien stood there. And 2 teachers were involved as well. All right, as far as visitation, that's probably one of the most important stories or true events that happened. They interviewed them when they were all adults now and stuff, and they still tell the same story. If a story doesn't change, it's probably closer to the truth than the UFO world. These people change their story every year. It gets better and better. Stephen Greer went from seeing a ship over his house to being next to an alien. He's the biggest storyteller liar out there in the UFO world, and he doesn't have the you-know-what to even debate me, talk to me, face me one way or another. Because he's a liar, and he's programmed. And he's taken people from trying to understand what aliens are to being twisted in mode. All aliens are good. There's no bad aliens. And they're going to help us. Really? They're spiritual. No, they're not. Spiritual people don't let people do horrible things. Period. We're destroying the earth, people. Good people are destroying the earth. People without awareness are destroying the earth. Where do you stand in all this, people? Anywhere? Now, Mr. Rumpo is going to try to get back in, which he probably will, which I hate to admit, will destroy the planet. But it'll just open the gateway for UN Agenda -30 now. He doesn't even know what it is or how real it really is. You know, Jesse Ventura exposed more things than any other person out there in the UFO world, any world. He exposed HARP system, FEMA, underground prison camps and all that, underground cities, you name it. He exposed it all. All right. He brought Fred Bell on one of his last shows. Fred Bell was taken out a day and a half later in the hotel room. Didn't even get to leave. He did the show with Jesse and then he was gone. But he even said in the beginning of the show, Jesse said, "Aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you?" And Fred Bell said, "No, I work for the government." So in the interim, he goes, "Well, what about me?" He said, "Don't worry. You're too high stream. They can't take you out." Which they didn't. I mean, all his shows were taken, most of his shows were taken down. All right. He exposed too much stuff. But people, the truth comes out and then the people disappear. Why am I still here? I have no clue. All right. You know, I guess the government, and I'll tell you this, one of the people in MK12 was allowed to release a lot of UFO stuff, who released all the project names and all the things you hear in the UFO world. But he also was taken out. First, they took his family out. Then they took him out. People, this is real, and it doesn't get any better as we move forward. Calling alien ships phenomena is not going to change anything, make anything better. It'll just pull us further into the idea that nobody knows what it is. And we know, the government knows. All right. Putin came out. I don't know if I'm sure you can't find it anywhere, but when it was released, he talked to his whole country about UFOs and aliens and Trump. Then when he met Trump, he talked to Trump about what he said. He told Trump to tell the world what we're really doing with aliens. But he also told Trump to release what really happened at 9/11. And Trump didn't do that either, did he? Whether they're going to be friends if he gets back in, who knows how that's going to go down. But I'm sure if he gets back in, the world will change because he'll probably try to make himself president until the world ends. But he won't be the number one person that takes the world out. UN agenda doesn't count him as anything important in their part. He's playing a role in their part, but he's not the most important part of the role. People, you heard it here first. Tommy Hawksblood. I'm a rebel. I go against all the UFO speakers, all the spiritual speakers. There's nobody out there that knows what spiritual even means. All right. Now Congress is trying to say aliens are entities. Really? There's a difference between entities and aliens, people. Same as there's a difference between angels and demons. But do you want the truth or do you want to live in La La Land, people? Listen to these UFO speakers. I'm a rebel. I was blocked by 2 people in the UFO world. Corey Good, because I confronted him on what he says. He said the aliens showed him the past, present, and future, but they were all lies. And he blocked me. And a person from Hawaii who moved out of Hawaii, big name in the UFO world. But all he did was attack the government. Go back to your own country if you need to attack. Attack Australia. Australia has the biggest army base on the planet, people. It's owned by the United States and Britain, whether you want to know that. It's not owned by Australia. People, wake up. You don't have much time. Yeah, you can enjoy your life, but enjoy it in the truth, not in the lies. Don't believe we're moving forward. Don't believe things are getting better. Don't believe your food's healthy, because it's not. Putting the word organic on it doesn't make it better for you. A lot of the things you eat are dangerous. The newest video out comes out and says the most dangerous foods that you can eat, which is what everybody eats weekly. All right, people. Write me, text me, Hawksblood11 on Skype if you want to talk personally, which I like to do rather than type, or Hawksblood1, AOL.com. That's in the chat room, people. This is real. I'm real. Tina's real. We don't deal with lies, stories, twisted information. We put the highest information out there that we can, the highest truth. I don't bring people on my show unless I totally feel that they're honest and real. That's why you don't see people on my show anymore. I had too many people. When I met them, they said one thing. When I brought them on the show, they said something else. From different levels, from UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it. And they all change their story when they come on my show. But I have an invitation from somebody that said he'd come on my show. I've got to try to push him into coming on for real. He said he would. One of the top people in the UFO world. He said, well, I have something important to say. I said, well, you can say whatever you want. Well, come on my show. Because I do have a few questions you need to answer for the world. All right, people. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. My co-host, Tina Bird, buy her book or get it for free online. But it is important if you want to know the truth about abduction. It's not a pleasurable thing. It's not a good thing. And it's happened way more than anybody wants to admit. And the disappearance of people is happening way more than anybody wants to admit. Till next time, please stay in touch. Send my link to everybody you can. All right. You heard it here first, hopefully.